Have you ever felt like someone you cared about just drifted away? Maybe it was an ex, a close friend, or someone who once showed genuine interest in you. One moment, they were there, laughing, talking, and fully engaged in your life. And then suddenly, they weren't. It's frustrating, confusing, even painful. But what if I told you they will return? Not by chance, not by wishful thinking, but by design. Most people handle this the wrong way. They chase, plead, and try to prove their worth, believing that if they just express their feelings, the other person will come to their senses and come back. However, that's not how attraction, respect, and human psychology work. The more you push, the more they pull away. Here's the truth. People don't return because you beg them to. They come back when they feel your absence, when they recognize your value only after you're no longer actively pursuing them. That's why today, I'm sharing the exact method to bring them back, not through force, but through power. Now, you might be wondering, is this manipulation? Absolutely not. This is about reclaiming your self-worth, understanding human nature, and allowing them to be drawn back to you naturally. This follows the Stoic principle of relationships, mastering yourself instead of trying to control others. And the best part, even if they don't come back, you won't care. By the time they do, you'll have grown so much that the decision will be yours. Will they even deserve a place in your life anymore? Let's start with the first, and perhaps the most difficult step. Stop chasing. The strength of absence. Have you ever experienced the slow fading of someone you deeply cared about? Maybe it was a romantic partner, a close friend, or even someone you were just getting to know. At first, they were engaged, responsive, and present. Then, gradually, their replies became slower, their enthusiasm faded, and before you knew it, they were gone. It's a confusing and painful experience, one that often leads to overanalyzing, second-guessing, and most commonly, chasing. It's human nature. When we sense something valuable slipping away, our instinct is to hold on tighter. But this is where most people make a crucial mistake. The more you chase, the further they retreat. The more you try to explain, the less they listen. The harder you fight for their presence, the more they resist. So why does this happen? Why does effort and care often seem to have the opposite effect? The answer lies in human psychology, specifically in how attraction, respect, and value truly work. The reality is, people don't return because you beg them to. They come back when they feel the weight of your absence. When someone starts pulling away, you have two choices. You can chase, revealing your neediness, or you can do the one thing they won't expect, disappear. The power of absence. Absence is one of the most powerful psychological tools, and it has nothing to do with manipulation. It's about positioning yourself as someone whose presence is valuable, so valuable that when it's gone, people feel it. Think about it. How often do we take for granted the things that are always there? The friend who always responds immediately, the partner who tolerates everything, the opportunity we assume will always be available. It's only when these things vanish that we recognize their true worth. This is why absence creates value. This is why sometimes the strongest move you can make is to walk away. When you chase, the message is clear. I need you. My happiness, my worth, my validation depend on you. Consciously or not, the other person perceives this as a shift in power, and nothing is less attractive than desperation. People aren't drawn to someone who is always available, always waiting. But when you remove yourself, when you genuinely let go, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly, they are left with silence where your energy used to be. They start to wonder why you haven't reached out. They question if they misjudged your importance. The absence forces them to confront a reality they never anticipated. You are no longer waiting for them. Where most people fail. Here's the mistake most people make. They go no contact for a few days, maybe a week, but then their resolve weakens. They check in, send a small message, or post something subtle designed to grab attention. They convince themselves that a tiny reminder won't hurt. But every time you break your own silence, you shatter its power. You remind them that you're still there, still waiting, still invested. And just like that, they no longer feel the need to return, because in their mind, they never really lost you. Absence is only effective when it's absolute. No reaching out, no accidental encounters, no social media games. Completely disappear, not as a punishment to them, but as a declaration of self-respect. Show, don't tell, that you will not chase someone who chooses to walk away. The Stoic approach to relationships. This is where Stoicism comes in. The philosophy of Stoic relationships teaches that your happiness should never be dependent on another person's actions. A true Stoic does not beg, does not plead, and does not attempt to force fate. Instead, they accept reality as it is and respond with strength, not desperation. Walking away without a word communicates something powerful. I am strong enough to let go. And that kind of strength is magnetic. But what if they never return? This fear is what holds most people back. What if I walk away and they don't miss me? What if they move on? But ask yourself, if someone can leave your life, feel nothing in your absence, and never look back, do you truly want them? Would you really beg for someone who only values you when you're constantly proving your worth? The people who genuinely care, the ones who truly matter, will feel the void you leave. And if they don't, then you just saved yourself from wasting time on someone who never truly valued you in the first place. The ultimate shift. You win either way. This is where true transformation happens. When you stop chasing, two powerful things occur. You regain control over yourself. You're no longer waiting, overthinking, or reacting to someone else's decisions. You start living for yourself. You force them to confront life without you. And here's the irony. People don't miss what's always available. They miss what's gone. The biggest mistake you can make is believing that proving your worth will make someone stay. In reality, your worth is proven in your ability to walk away when you're not valued. If they left, let them feel the weight of that decision. Let them sit in the silence. Let them wonder. Let them experience what life without you truly means. And here's the most powerful part. Even if they don't return, you still win. Because by then, you'll have evolved into someone who doesn't need them anymore. This is the foundation of Stoic relationships. Understanding that the only person you should ever chase is yourself. Right now, you may feel the urge to reach out, to remind them of the connection you shared. But stop, take a deep breath, and realize this. If they truly cared, they wouldn't need reminding. Because the real power isn't in chasing. It's in being someone whose absence is felt so deeply that the other person is compelled to return. And if they do, by then, you will be the one who decides if they're even worthy of coming back. But this is just the beginning. Because absence alone isn't enough. If you truly want to become someone they can't ignore, it's time to take things even further. Work on yourself. Glow both physically and psychologically. Now that you've stopped chasing, something interesting happens. The silence begins to work in your favor. You're no longer feeding their ego, no longer reminding them that you're still there. And in that space, they begin to wonder about you. But here's where most people get it wrong. They stop at just disappearing. They assume time alone will bring the person back. But time isn't enough. What truly shifts the dynamic is when they realize you're no longer the same person they left behind. This is where your real power begins. It's time to focus on yourself, to level up in ways that make them stop in their tracks and question everything. But more importantly, to become so strong, so self-assured, so magnetic that by the time they return, you might not even want them anymore. Step 1. The physical glow up. Like it or not, physical appearance plays a role in how people perceive you. This isn't about conforming to beauty standards. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. When you take care of yourself, when you start dressing better, working out, and moving with confidence, people notice. Have you ever run into someone from your past who suddenly looked better, happier, more put together? Your first thought was probably, wow, what happened to them? That's the reaction you want. You want them to see someone they barely recognize, someone who isn't sitting around waiting but thriving. But a physical glow up is just the surface. The real transformation comes from within. Step 2. The mental glow up. This is where Stoicism comes in, the philosophy of emotional control, self-mastery, and resilience. Instead of obsessing over why they left, instead of letting their absence define you, take this time to strengthen your mind. Read more, learn new skills, build something of your own. Do things that make you feel powerful, independent, and in control of your own life. Because the reality is, people are drawn to those who don't need them. They are drawn to confidence, certainty, and purpose. When they see that you've moved on, not just physically but mentally, they start to question everything. Step 3. Master the art of detachment. You've stopped chasing. You've embraced the power of absence. You've shifted your focus to self-improvement, but now comes the real test. Can you truly let go? Detachment isn't about temporarily stepping away. It's about breaking free from their emotional hold over you. Most people think they've moved on, but deep down, they're still waiting. They're still checking their phone, still hoping for a text. And as long as that hope controls you, you're not truly free. True detachment is the ultimate power move. It's the ability to be at peace whether they return or not. It's the mindset that says, I do not chase, I attract. If something is meant for me, it will come effortlessly. But here's the problem. Detachment isn't something you can fake. You can't claim you don't care while still stalking their social media. True detachment comes from realizing that you were never meant to hold on to anything that isn't actively choosing you. Why detachment works? Most people don't realize this, but attachment is what causes suffering, not loss itself. It's not their absence that hurts. It's the fact that you're still emotionally tied to them. You're still giving them space in your mind, even though they've walked away. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you can't fully move forward. But here's the truth, the past is gone. What exists is only this moment. And in this moment, you have a choice. Do you keep clinging to what left you? Or do you step into your power and let go? Detachment isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about accepting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. When you fully accept that someone has walked away, without resistance or bargaining, you gain something incredible: peace. There's a lesson from Stoicism that applies perfectly here. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you accept that you cannot control whether someone stays or leaves, but you can control how you respond, you reclaim your power. And this is where the real shift happens. The moment they feel your absence. Up until now, even if you weren't chasing, they could still feel your energy lingering. On some level, they knew you were waiting, and that gave them security. But once you detach, once you genuinely stop caring whether they return, they feel it. And suddenly, for the first time, they are confronted with a reality where you are not just silent. You are gone. And that's when something shifts in their mind. They start to wonder, did I make a mistake? Are they really over me? The person who once thought they could return anytime now questions if they've lost you for good. And when someone believes they've lost something valuable, they crave it more than ever. This is human nature. It's why we suddenly want things we took for granted once they're no longer available. It's why people chase those who stop caring. Why detachment is true freedom. By the time they realize your worth, you won't need their validation anymore. You won't be waiting for them to notice you. You won't feel anxious when they reach out, because you'll have built a life so fulfilling, so complete, that their presence or absence no longer dictates your happiness. And that is the most powerful position you can be in. But we're not done yet. If you really want to shift the dynamic completely, there's another level, one that taps into one of the most powerful psychological triggers known to humans: social proof. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Social proof. Make them see your value. At this point, you've stopped chasing. You've focused on yourself, leveled up mentally and physically, and truly detached emotionally. You're no longer desperate for their validation, no longer holding on to the past, and certainly no longer waiting. But now, something interesting happens. You're about to trigger a response in them that they won't be able to ignore. It's time to leverage one of the most powerful psychological principles in human nature: social proof. The psychology of social proof. Whether we like to admit it or not, people want what others find valuable. This is why luxury brands charge thousands for items that cost a fraction to produce. It's why people suddenly become interested in someone the moment they see others desiring them. And it's exactly why the person who left or pulled away will start second-guessing their decision when they realize others see your worth. This isn't manipulation. It's human psychology. People desire what is desired. They respect what is respected. They notice what stands out. And when you position yourself in a way that shows you are thriving, wanted, and valued by others, something shifts in their mind. They start to feel like they made a mistake. Think about it. When they left, they assumed you'd still be there. They assumed they could come back whenever they wanted. But now, they see something completely different. They see you out enjoying life, surrounded by people who appreciate you. They see others admiring you, wanting to be around you. And suddenly, they feel something they weren't expecting. Regret. Regret for walking away. Regret for thinking you were replaceable. Regret for underestimating your value. Because the moment they realize that other people see what they overlooked, they start to panic. How to apply social proof without looking desperate? But here's the key. You can't fake this. You can't just post pictures on social media trying to look happy while secretly hoping they notice. You have to actually live this transformation. When it's real, they will feel it. And that's when the impact is undeniable. So, how do you apply social proof effectively? 1. Expand your social circle. Go out, meet new people, and connect with those who bring positive energy into your life. Not for the sake of making them jealous, but because this is what true growth looks like. Your world no longer revolves around them. You are expanding, evolving, and attracting new experiences. 2. Be seen, but don't seek attention. This doesn't mean oversharing on social media. It means being visible in a way that feels natural. Whether it's through events, new hobbies, or just carrying yourself with confidence, make sure your presence is felt. The goal? You want them to hear about you, not from you, but through the world around them. Because when they see or hear about you doing well without ever reaching out, the effect is 10 times stronger. 3. Attract attention from others without forcing it. This isn't about rushing into a new relationship that's reactive. True power comes from being intentional. But when they start to see that others are interested in you, something shifts in their mind. They start to feel possessive. They start to feel like maybe they miscalculated. They start to realize that they don't have forever to come back, because if they wait too long, someone else will take their place. And that fear is what forces them to act. Why this works, even if it feels unfair. Some people might ask, if they didn't appreciate me before, why should it matter now? The truth? Sometimes people don't realize what they had until they see it through someone else's eyes. It's not fair. It's not rational, but it's how human nature works. When they see you being valued by others, they suddenly remember why they were drawn to you in the first place. They remember the energy, the confidence, the presence. And in that moment, they start to crave what they once took for granted. But here's the best part. By the time they realize this, you won't need their validation anymore. You won't be sitting around, hoping they notice. You won't feel anxious when they reach out. You won't be waiting for a sign that they regret leaving. Because you will have built a life so fulfilling, so complete that their presence or absence no longer dictates your happiness. And that is the ultimate power move. Now, let's make this real. If you're starting to feel this shift, if you're realizing just how powerful this transformation is, drop a number 1 in the comments right now. And if you want to go even deeper into this process, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're only getting started. What comes next is the real game changer. Because while social proof is powerful, it's only half the equation. The next step? Making them feel like they're truly losing you. And that's when everything changes. Stay tuned. Let them come to you. The last stage. By now, you've done the work. You've stopped chasing, detached emotionally, rebuilt yourself, and made them feel the loss of you. You've positioned yourself in a way that forces them to question everything they once believed about their control in this situation. And now, they're reaching out, trying to find a way back into your life. But here's the most crucial part. You do nothing. You let them come to you. Why this is the hardest, yet most powerful step. After all the discipline it took to pull away, you'll feel tempted to make it easier for them. You might want to meet them halfway, speed up the process, or guide them back. Don't, because what happens next determines everything. Are they coming back because they truly value you? Or is it just temporary curiosity, loneliness, or ego? People value what they have to work for. If they don't have to work to get you back, they won't stay. This is the reason so many people fall into toxic cycles. Someone returns, and instead of holding a standard, they immediately open the door. No effort required. And when something is easy to get, it's easy to take for granted. That's why you must let them come to you fully and completely, without any help from you. What this means in practice: 1, you don't initiate. 2, you don't chase, even after they show interest. 3, you let them be the ones to ask to see you. 4, you let them bring up reconciliation. 5, you let them sit with the weight of their own decisions. They must prove, through consistent action, that they genuinely want to be in your life. Because if they expect you to do the work again, then they are not serious. And you are not someone who settles for half-hearted effort. This is where Stoicism comes into play. True power is not enforcing an outcome. True power is being completely indifferent to it. If they come back, fine. If they don't, fine. Either way, you are in control of yourself, your emotions, and your future. You are not someone who waits for validation from another person. You've already built a life so full and complete that their presence or absence does not define you. Why this makes them want you more? People are drawn to those who are hard to get. It's not about playing games. It's about perceived value. When someone has to work to earn a place in your life, they treat it with respect. But if they feel like they can come and go as they please, they take it for granted. That's why you must hold your position. How to handle their return. 1. If they come back with real effort, genuine intention, and a clear understanding that things must be different, maybe you consider it, but only on your terms, not because you need them, but because it aligns with your new standard. 2. If they come back with hesitation, inconsistency, or words but no actions, you already know the answer. They don't belong in the new life you've built. The real victory. By now, their return is no longer the goal. It's simply an option, because you've realized something deeper. The real victory was never about making them come back. The real victory was becoming someone who doesn't need them to. That's when you know you've won. The final transformation. You started this journey feeling lost, wondering if they would ever return. But through this process, you've realized something far more important. This was never about them. It was always about you. You reclaimed your power, your self-worth, and your ability to stand tall without relying on external validation. You stopped chasing and embraced the power of absence. You rebuilt yourself into someone stronger. You mastered detachment, moving forward without emotional dependency. You positioned yourself in a way that naturally draws them back, not through force, but through undeniable change. And now, you stand in the final stage, not waiting for their return, but evaluating whether they even deserve a place in your life anymore. This is the ultimate power move, because now you realize you don't accept half-hearted efforts. You don't entertain people who don't bring value. You don't settle for relationships built on insecurity. Instead, you demand more, not through words, but through the way you carry yourself. And when you reach this place, you realize something profound. The greatest gift this process has given you isn't their return. It's your freedom. The freedom to choose. The freedom to walk away when something no longer serves you. The freedom to be completely at peace, knowing that no matter who stays or who leaves, you will always have yourself. And that is the most powerful thing of all. If this journey has changed how you see yourself, let me know in the comments. If you now feel stronger, clearer, and more in control than ever before, drop it in the comments right now. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because this isn't just about relationships. This is about becoming the kind of person who never has to question their own worth again. Stay strong, stay grounded, keep growing, because now you don't chase, you don't wait, you choose.